Sony has announced their new cameras in the A7C line up, the A7C II and the A7Cr, and I was lucky enough to go to a special midnight event to get some hands-on time with both these cameras, as well as the new G Master 16-35 Mark II. Now, don't judge my footage from my iPhone. I actually didn't know that I was going to be allowed to film anything, but here we are. So, as someone who has owned the A7C since release, and has primarily run his entire photography business using this up until about 2 months ago when I picked up the A7 IV, do I feel the need to upgrade? Short answer, no. Thanks for watching, see you later. Oh, long answer. Let's break it down into 3 key sections to answer my own needs, and by doing that, it might answer some questions for you. We're gonna break down into things such as build, specs, and price. Let's start with build. Now, getting my hands on the A7C II and A7Cr, they do feel exactly the same as the original A7C. It is the same body. The only difference here is that the A7Cr comes with an extended grip in box. Now, this does give you a fuller hold with the benefit of the lighter camera. The A7C II does not come with that, so if you don't like the old grip, you will either need a plan to pay extra for the grip extender, or perhaps consider buying the original larger body of an alpha camera. Now, both cameras do come with some welcome changes to the body itself. On the front, both cameras have a dial wheel, which we can use to customize for whatever we want, or just change the aperture built in just like normal on the alpha cameras, rather than sharing it with the dial on the back or the wheel scroll on the back as well. Also, on top, we get a new toggle system that we saw first in the A7 IV, now brought into a lot of other cameras, and this is no different. This allows us to switch quickly between movie, video mode, photo mode, and S&Q mode, and also being able to customize certain switches and certain numbers and everything for those modes. So that is one of the biggest upgrades to this camera as it stands. Now, these cameras are missing some key things that we were hoping for as well. They don't have dual card slots. We only have one card slot and it's SD only. I really am surprised that we didn't at least get a card slot that could include having a CFX Express card, just like the first slot in the Sony A7 IV. On top of that, neither camera has come with the amazing contortionist screen that the A7 V provides, and the one thing that I actually was surprised about, but I guess it makes a bit of sense, is that neither camera also comes with the sensor protector screen that flips down when you turn off the camera for your A7 IV. One of the main things that is going to be missed, apart from the dual card slots, is the joystick on the back to set your focus, to move it around the screen. It's so handy. And, you know, I thought at first, perhaps it doesn't fit, you know? Look at the back, it's the same as the A7C. There's not a lot of room up there. Maybe it's just not gonna happen. I should accept that. But then I got thinking, and I thought about, and bear with me here, if you're a Nintendo fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. Go back to 2015, the Nintendo new 3DS has come out, and it had that tiny toggle, that analog stick to play your games with.
The new Nintendo 3DS XL system. What makes it new? For one, the C-Stick.
And it was incredible, it was a little stiff, but it was so responsive and it did the job. I'm surprised that a camera in 2023 can't have something similar built into the back of it. Maybe that's just me, but you know what? Comment down below if you could have one of these missing features, which one would it be for you? Body-wise, this is a personal preference of mine. Had I not gotten the Sony A7 IV, my personal dream camera that I was saving up for just 2 months ago, I would be frothing at the A7C II with all of the A7 IV things that it has. However, I still believe that I personally really like the full grip that I get from the larger camera. So at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't have upgraded based on the size and all that, because I would have used this release in hopes that the A7 IV would go down in price, or I would pick up a secondhand one. But I don't regret getting this camera. I absolutely love it. It's been incredible since having it. Specs. So my workflow sees me doing about 80% photography, 20% video, and that is starting to shift into more of a 70-30, 60-40 split. And the A7C has been one of the most incredible cameras that I've used for photography. It has gotten me so many wonderful shots, whether it be for me personally or whether it be for my clients. It has put in so much work and it has never failed me, really. And now it's really just this fantastic companion camera to my new workhorse, the Sony a7 IV. So what are the new specs that we're seeing in the a7C II and R that might mean you should consider upgrading? Well, first of all, both cameras now come with IBIS up to 7 stops rather than the old 5 stops. We also see that they each get the Sony a7 IV's AI detection focus chip, which is incredible. And then on top of that, we also do see that they both do have their megapixel bump. The a7C II is 33 megapixels and the a7R is up to 61. As a photographer, the Sony a7C 24 megapixels is plenty for me. I don't find myself aching to crop into photos so much that I'm losing image quality. Really, it's just minor crops to make sure I get the exact composition that I was trying to get at the time. Now, the old menu system, that is something that I can work around, but look, let's just agree on this. The new menu system is better, and that's just a fact. The AI focus chip, for example, that is amazing to have in a camera. And if you can have it, you can have it. But I don't find that my a7C is missing any shots to the point that I'm blaming the camera, and more so that I'm actually reflecting on my own skill as a photographer and wondering why am I missing the shots. So my overall view as a photographer, photo-wise, I don't see the need to upgrade just yet. An a7C provides incredible photos and I would highly recommend picking it up, especially now when hopefully it will drop a little bit in price. Now, video is where things get a bit harder. The a7C is primarily and understandably a mini a7 IV, which is what I use now for all my video work. So it does come with all those upgrades. It has S-Log3, it has Cinetone, S-Cinetone, it has 10-bit recording. The a7C original only has 8-bit and S-Log3, which is not really good, and S-Log2, which is more usable. And so matching those two together when I've used a 2-camera setup, it's not very pleasurable. It's not easy. And so I usually find myself dulling down my settings in my a7 IV to match what my a7C can do. And that kind of takes away from the whole point of having a camera that is more updated. The a7C II would make a better video companion camera in a dual setup that I use with my a7 IV, or realistically, a really great travel light, easy video camera for those more heavy duty days where you're walking around a lot and you're headed all over the place. Now, both cameras do come with the 4K 60 crop, unfortunately still, but on top of that, there are cameras out there now that have been updated to be able to record 4K 120 on a crop and 4K 60 with no crop. And so that is an interesting setback, but I'm used to using the 4K 60 crop on my a7 IV, so it doesn't really affect my workflow too much. But if you're coming from a camera that doesn't have that, then that might be something you need to consider. As my video work does start to pick up, I will be looking at more of a video-centric companion camera to my a7 IV. You know, that might mean looking at the a7C II as one, but also maybe getting a more main video camera such as the FX3, the Sony ZV-1, or waiting for a Sony a7S for price. The Sony a7C II is releasing at $2,200 USD, as well as the Sony a7R releasing at $3,000. Now, price is a bit of a tricky one to talk about because we all have our own financial situations. So I think the easiest way is to go hypothetically, should you be looking at getting these cameras and you have the money, what could you get instead? For $2,200 US today, you could pick up something like the APS-C sensor A6700. This comes with 4K 60 not cropped and 4K 120 with a crop. It also has the built-in amazing AI focus chip, and it also comes with the benefit of APS-C lenses generally being cheaper. You could get the Sony a7 IV. Yes, it is the larger build quality, but it has all the features that they currently have minus the AI system, and you do get dual card slots and a toggle stick. But let's say that you're not really focused on photos, you're more of a video person, and you don't really want a bulky camera. Something like the ZV-E1 would actually be fantastic. It has all the features that I mentioned above, and it is an incredible little camera that you can carry around for video. Plus, you can take 12 megapixel photos, which really, that's what the a7 III had, and a lot of people do a lot of great work with that. There are many great combinations that you can put together with $2,200, and so I encourage you to look around and find out exactly what you really want to use a camera for and decide whether or not you're getting stuck in the hype of the new releases, or if there is a camera that is out there that is more suitable for your current needs. $2,200 can get you a camera, a lens, a kit. It can get you a lot of things. So before you just go around pre-ordering and buying things, really think about why you want this. So I'm gonna leave you with a quote that I found on one of the forum pages that I read through, talking about Sony A7Cs in particular and talking about this current release. And it is, great upgrades, but not enough to change the outcome for my work. If upgrading your camera wouldn't change the current quality of your images, be that actual quality or just efficiency in your workflow, then chances are holding onto the camera you currently have is actually the better choice. See you in the next one.